What up YouTube, my name is RadiantXela and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny deck profile. This one is one that I posted to the Destiny Shapers Facebook group earlier this evening. It is a eKylo Ren eJango Fett deck using the Rebel War Room battleground. So the concept of this deck is to rely on the fact that Jango has mixed damage and Kylo has melee damage to coordinate the good blue cards that are normally inefficient because of their range damage with the good yellow cards that are normally inefficient because of their melee damage to create a new sort of control-y damagey mid-range deck. This is a 21 health deck. For the cost of 29 points you get double dice elite status for both characters. The Rebel War Room is chosen due to the fact that most of the yellow melee upgrades do have resource costs, and the blue lightsaber has resource costs in their attacks as well as Kylo Ren. So using the Rebel War Room you can get to slice even if you're low on resources. So yeah, that's basically the gesture of the deck. The cards are 2 Enrage for popping damage on Kylo. There's no chance that your opponent is going to focus Kylo over Jango Fett on 2 dice. So double Enrage is really good for this deck because you get to damage Kylo yourself, not like that matters, but you get the resources, which is great, and it will help you set up for those free cost upgrades faster in the early game. Double he doesn't like you. Kylo has a good chance of rolling something that you actually don't really care about on his own die, so he doesn't like you is a great card with Kylo Ren. Running 2 Ace in the Hole, because once you're set up you still want the ability to use your yellow upgrades. An Ace in the Hole is a card that lets you discard a yellow upgrade from your hand to roll its die, creating that window for you to do some serious potential damage, as it effectively lets you in one round control 7 upgrades with this deck. Right, single isolation. This was a 2, but I reduced the amount because it only removes character dice, and that would let me include more aggressive cards in place of this. Also, we also have the He Doesn't Like You and the 2 electroshocks for card removal, as well as Fuel Your Anger. So with all of this, you have this amazing potential to, for just 1 resource each turn, create loopholes for you to work through your opponent's defenses, remove their defensive rolls, and get really up to them with the damage rolls that you will be having with the upgrades included in this deck. So running 2, use the Force, because you can use this, turn like a flamethrower to a 4 damage and then claim battlefield next turn. Or maybe even better, force your opponent to claim the battlefield because they don't want to take that 4 damage from the flamethrower. So yeah, use the Force, both mitigation and control. Running double all-ins. This is I guess this is actually the staple card of Star Wars Destiny. I have yet to find a deck in which I don't say, oh, all-in, that's a good card, I could use this here. I'd never actually picture a deck in which I say, nah, all-in, not gonna use it. So I highly recommend running all-in. It lets you resolve multiple dice of your choice at once, creating, yeah, the ability for you to claim battlefields during your next turn, which is just grand. A single Infamous is here to grant ambush, meaning you get additional turns to any yellow card you play during your turn, only once per turn, since this requires exhaustion of this support. The thing here is that you want to work towards claiming the battlefield as previously said, and the Infamous card lets you sort of speed that up, but taking away 2 slots for just this mechanic is too much, so a single one. Double backup muscle is a staple in my current local meta, and I think most of us. At my locals we have like 3, I think, Dooku players at the moment, so backup muscle is required if you are playing yellow villain. It lets you shift damage onto Dooku and lets you penetrate that which cannot be penetrated. Double holocron, this is grand. Jango Fett with the Sith holocron is amazing. It provides focus, it provides resources, and it provides him with Force Throw. That is just great. Sorry, a 0 cost switch upgrades onto Jango card is amazing because he does the rolling for himself. So he really scales well with this upgrade. Double Force Training is just great for this deck because it has both ranged and melee, just the same as Django has both ranged and melee. It also has the focus, meaning that we can get out those damagey sides, and it can build resources using its special or its passive resource die, which is just fantastic when you get to the yellow upgrades. Double Force Throw. This deck does not use Mind Probe for Blue Villain or Force Choke because I don't have. Mind Probe because I actually don't like it here. I would much rather just have the Force Throw, which gives the disrupt options and the special to remove die and do damage at the same time, which I think is more of a Django-y thing than the Mind Probe special, which is scaling upon hand sizes and all those things. I think Force Throw is also payable without the Holocron, using those extra resources that the Holocron could provide, or any of the other cards could provide, or you can play it during your turn 1 onto eKylo only, admittedly, but that doesn't matter. That just means that eKylo might also take some heat of damage. So yeah, that's great. Double Lightsaber. This is a standard for melee decks in my opinion. Also with the redeploy, it is a really suitable card for a deck which characters has, I think it's 3 or 4 melee sides in total you get with this, or you get to support with this. So yeah, its special is unblockable damage, which again is great when my local meta has a lot of Count Dooku's, and so every deck I make, in blue at least, needs to have those 2 lightsabers. Running a single on the hunt to remove those shields and modify any type of damage coming out. The minus here is that on the hunt, while it supports both characters early game, does not do so in the late game, and it will get replaced during the late game for fancy upgrades such as the lightsaber. But during the early game, this could be the thing that supports you into both controlling opponent's dice, but also dealing that extra bit of damage that grants you an advantage. So I started off with this guy at 2, but reduced to 1. This is the Gaffy Stick. It does a lot of melee damage and it has redeploy, which is great, and it can remove a die of yours showing melee damage to deal free damage to a character. I'm currently juggling between 2 of these or 2 flamethrowers, but as of right now, I think with the Ace in the Hole combo in the deck, that the flamethrower should be at 2 and Gaffy Stick should be at 1 to make space. You could remove the last isolation to include the second Gaffy Stick, simply for more, if you want to go for more aggro. I like to have that mid-rangey feel of control, but if you would like more aggro, removing the isolation for second Gaffy Stick is definitely a good choice. Also, Gaffy Stick for Kylo Ren, really? That is pretty funny. Alright, so Double Flamethrower is the most aggressive card. It deals tons of damage upon tons of damage for little to no cost. Its special is great against multiple character decks, which we have a lot of at my local meta. Aside from Dooku, it's like Dooku or multiple characters like Padawan Rey or Triple Stormtrooper Balatek, that sort of thing. So the Flamethrower special is just grand in burning down your opponent at once. Also, Kylo Ren with a Flamethrower, really? That needs to be in the next movie. So, last card of this deck is the Crime Lord. This is of course here for Ace in the Hole, or for those opportune rounds in which you manage to gain enough resources to punch this out and just sit there being a threat to your opponent. It can generate 2 resources on its own, it has no blanks. It says spend 5 resources on a special to destroy or defeat a character after the round ends. This is such a great card for yellow villain. It is such a huge threat. If you get it on the board, your opponent is going to focus the guard that you have this on simply out of fear. Meaning that you can use this to switch. If your opponent has focused Kylo, Kylo is about to go down, you get Crime Lord and Django, you start winning. You really start winning. And if Django has gone down, you have the double Ace in the Hole to still roll out this die, control it using use the Force, and simply assume the battlefield, assume the game. There's nothing that's going to threaten you with this deck. I think this has actually been one of the funniest decks ever for me to make, because I haven't ever seen a Kylo Django build. So let me know, what are your experiences with Kylo and Django? in the comments down below. As always, my name has been RadiantXela, and I'll see you guys next time.